3 weeks into January, the gym is already getting emptier. Those new planners are collecting dust. Sound familiar? It's that time when most New Year's resolutions start to crumble and people begin to wonder if real change is even possible. But here's what's fascinating. It's not that these goals were wrong, or that the people who set them lack willpower. The real story is much more interesting, and it holds the key to transforming not just your resolutions but your entire approach to change. Let me share something I witnessed just last week. I was at a cafe overhearing a conversation between two friends. One was frustrated, listing all her failed resolutions from previous years. "I always start strong," she said, "but by February it's like I'm a completely different person. The one who made those goals, she's gone." Her friend nodded sympathetically, probably thinking about her own abandoned resolutions. This conversation captures something crucial about why most resolutions fail. We treat them like a sprint when they are really a marathon. We focus on the what without understanding the how, and most importantly, we try to change our actions without first changing our mindset. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to achieve their goals almost effortlessly, while others struggle despite having the same resources and opportunities? The difference often isn't in their methods, but in their mindset and approach to change. I learned this lesson the hard way in my own journey. A few years ago, I made all the classic resolutions: get fit, save money, reduce stress, improve relationships. I had the perfect plan, downloaded all the right apps, bought all the right equipment, and for the first 2 weeks everything was great. I was hitting the gym, tracking my expenses, meditating daily. Then reality hit. The problem wasn't with my goals or even my motivation. The problem was that I was trying to change everything at once without understanding how sustainable change actually works. I was focusing on actions without addressing the underlying patterns that had created my current situation. This is where something fascinating happens. When we understand the science of change, we can work with our brain instead of against it. Remember in our video about the growth mindset, we talked about how our beliefs about change itself can either empower or limit us. This applies perfectly to New Year's resolutions. Let me give you a practical example. Take financial goals, which are among the most common New Year's resolutions. Many people start January with strict budgets and ambitious saving targets. But by February they are back to their old spending habits, feeling guilty and discouraged. Sound familiar? But here's what is interesting. The people who succeed with financial resolutions aren't necessarily the ones with the most detailed budgets. They are the ones who first change their relationship with money. Remember what we discussed in our financial wellness video. It's not just about the numbers, it's about understanding your emotional patterns around money. I saw this principle in action with a friend who transformed her financial life. Instead of starting with strict budgeting, she began by simply tracking her spending without judgment for amounts. This awareness alone led to natural changes in her spending habits. She wasn't fighting against herself. She was working with her natural tendencies to create sustainable change. This brings us to another crucial aspect of successful resolutions: stress management. One of the biggest reasons resolutions fail is that we get overwhelmed by trying to maintain too many changes at once. Remember what we learned about stress in our last video. Stress isn't always the enemy, but we need to work with it rather than against it. Think about it this way: every change we try to make requires energy. When we try to change too many things at once, we are like a phone running too many apps simultaneously. Eventually, we crash. The key is to understand our energy capacity and work within it. This is where communication becomes crucial, not just with others, but with ourselves. Remember our discussion about effective communication. Those same principles apply to how we talk to ourselves about our goals and progress. Instead of harsh self-criticism when we slip up, we need to maintain a constructive internal dialogue. Let me share a powerful technique I have seen work wonders for sustaining change. I call it the identity shift method. Instead of focusing on what you want to do, focus on who you want to become. For example, instead of "I want to save money," think "I'm becoming someone who makes wise financial decisions." This subtle shift changes everything. This approach worked remarkably well for another friend who wanted to develop a regular exercise habit. Instead of focusing on specific workout goals, he started thinking of himself as someone who prioritizes health. This identity-based approach made his daily decisions easier because they were aligned with his new self-image. But here's something crucial about sustainable change that often gets overlooked: the role of environment. We often underestimate how much our surroundings influence our behavior. Small environmental changes can have a huge impact on our ability to maintain new habits. For instance, if you are trying to eat healthier, instead of relying purely on willpower, change your environment. Put fruit at eye level in your fridge and less healthy snacks in opaque containers at the back. If you're trying to save money, unsubscribe from shopping newsletters and delete shopping apps from your phone. This brings us to another powerful concept: the idea of habit stacking. Instead of trying to create entirely new routines, attach new habits to existing ones. Want to start meditating? Do it right after your morning coffee. Want to exercise more? Do a few stretches right after brushing your teeth. But let's talk about something that rarely gets discussed when it comes to New Year's resolutions: the power of gradual progress. We often set goals that are too ambitious too quickly. Instead of trying to transform everything at once, focus on small, consistent improvements. Think of it like compound interest. Small, regular investments yield impressive returns over time. The same principle applies to personal change. A 1% improvement each day might not seem like much, but over a year it leads to remarkable transformation. This is where tracking becomes important, but not in the way most people do it. Instead of focusing solely on outcomes, track your processes. Don't just track how much money you save, track how many times you make conscious spending decisions. Don't just track weight loss, track how many times you choose healthy meals. Another crucial aspect of sustainable change is having support systems in place. Remember our discussions about effective communication? Use those skills to clearly communicate your goals to people who can support you. But be selective. Share your goals with people who will encourage your growth, not those who might undermine it. I have seen the power of this in group settings. A friend started a goals group where members meet monthly to share progress and challenges. The combination of accountability and support has helped them maintain changes long after most New Year's resolutions would have faded. But here's something important to remember. Setbacks are not failures. They are feedback. Think back to our growth mindset discussion. Every time something doesn't go as planned, it's an opportunity to learn and adjust your approach. The people who succeed in maintaining long-term changes are not the ones who never slip up. They are the ones who get back on track quickly after setbacks. Let me share a practical framework for handling setbacks. I call it the reset and reflect method. Instead of beating yourself up when you sleep, take a moment to acknowledge the setback without judgment. Identify what led to it. Make one small adjustment to your approach. Get back to your goals immediately. This framework helps turn potential failure points into stepping stones for progress. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize something crucial. Lasting change isn't about perfect execution. It's about consistent realignment. Every day is a chance to reset and continue moving toward your goals. Think of it less like walking a tightrope and more like steering a ship. Constant small adjustments keep you on course. Start by choosing one area where you want to create lasting change. Apply the principles we've discussed: mindset shifts, stress management, effective self-communication, and environmental design. Remember, you're not just trying to do different things, you're becoming a different person. And speaking of making positive changes, if you found this approach to transformation helpful, you will definitely want to check out our previous video on stress management, practical techniques that actually work. Learning to manage stress effectively is crucial for maintaining the changes we have discussed today, as stress is often the biggest obstacle to keeping our resolutions. You can find the link in the description below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with more videos that will help you create lasting positive changes in your life. Thanks for watching Elevate with Salman. Until next time, remember, true transformation isn't about the calendar date. It's about the daily decisions that gradually shape who you become. Make each one count.